first, on Monday night, we have Sweden, and Matt is going to lead us through that. You are on the clock in 5 seconds.
I could start early. No. So Sweden, or the Blågult, as I've tried to master the pronunciation of today, they are going to line up in a 4-4-2. It's nailed on. They play the same formation. They played it for all the qualifiers. They played it in all their friendlies, and it's nearly always the same personnel. You're going to have the likes of Lustig, Lindelof, Granqvist, and Augustinsson across the back, Claesson, Ekdal, Larsen, Forsberg along the midfield, and Toivonen and Berg up front is guaranteed to be that, nearly. So they usually, when in a rare case of attacking, they usually have the wing backs come up and the wingers tuck in. It's a very standard overlapping style, but they also have a penchant for a long ball. But this is more decisive than hopeful, because they've got quite tall forwards, quite a lot of tall players, and they score a lot of goals through their aerial presence, something that Korea's going to have to watch for. They also remain quite compact at the back. They keep quite a rigid back line. They're very difficult to break and pull apart. As for key players, the main one is Forsberg on the left. He plays for RP Leipzig, and he tends to drift in from the left, and he can take on players. He could actually attract interest from other clubs with a good showing in this World Cup as well. He's an unpredictable spark in a very predictable team, and he has the license to express himself, and he could cause concern for Korea. They're also to watch out for is Marcus Berg. He is the top scorer. He actually plays for Al Ain at the moment, but he has got the most goals, and he's probably going to be a target man in the box to head home. How am I doing? Right. Concerns. Well, there is a concern from set pieces because of this aerial ability. So we've got that to contend with, and there's also the issue with the left side where Forsberg is, but also Augustinsson or Olsen from Swansea City. Ki Sung-young will be familiar with him. Both of them will work down the left side, overlapping to create space in the box, drag defenders out, create space, and send the ball into these target men. So Korea, if they play a 4-4-2, will need both players pulling back on the right to try and cover these two players. Korea, in terms of opportunities, they know what to expect, so they've got an opportunity to dictate the game. Sweden they cede possession. It's Sweden's tactic to give away the possession and just keep firm at the back and get an odd goal. Also, their central defender and captain, Granqvist, he is close to the end of his international career. He doesn't like players running at him, if you to believe our K-League coach. Something that Son Heung-min, Hwang Hee-chan, Lee Sung and Lee Sung-woo could all exploit. We also, if there's an aerial presence problem, could be looking at tall players. Now, there are 3 tall players in the Korean squad: Kim Shin-ok, Oh Ban-suk, Jong Sung-hyun, but you would not expect any of those to start. But they are there for Shin Tae-yong to call upon. So, how can Korea set up? Well, we said we're all going to talk about this, didn't we, Ryan?
We did. That was an impressive 3 minutes. Well done, sir. I think in this one, this to me, tactically speaking, this to me is the one that I'm most interested in, because, as we've said, Sweden's going to say, come and get it.
Yeah.
And Korea has trouble breaking teams down. We saw that in qualifying. We see it in a lot of the friendlies. And this is going to be very interesting of how they set up formationally, and also just how they're going to try to attack, how they're going to try to break things down, because we've seen them move forward really well. They get out of that second third, they do really well.
Yeah.
And then they get into the final third, and they just forget what to do or blast it from 50 yards out. And it just... It's going to be interesting to see how patient they are, and how they're going to do that.
Okay.
I think what you were saying there about being in the final third is almost reining in Son Heung-min and telling him just to be calm, because how many times have we seen him in qualifying or throughout the last couple of years just trying to do it all by himself?
Yeah, I mean, that's the expectation put on him. But
I mean,
he doesn't always have to do that.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of times where there's somebody open, and if he just makes that pass, there's a goal on the board.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, but it's a bit like Ronaldo with Portugal. He is their out and out star. Son Heung-min is Korea's out and out,
and will also score a hat trick in the opening game.
Yeah, there you go. So you know it's going to be 3-3.
Okay, well, I've got them to Korea to probably line up in a 4-4-2 with Lee Sung-woo and Lee Jae-sung on the wings, and Son Heung-min and Hwang Hee-chan up front. That would be the ideal four. Those four could probe that back line and try and pull it apart with some creative displays. You could also get away with a 3-5-2 if it could be executed properly. That's the biggest if here. But if you played it that way, you could have Lee Jae-sung behind. The issue is you can't trust Korea.
You can't trust those defenders.
If you had three at the back, though, you could kind of cover those two strikers, and you could also bring on one of those tall centre backs in Oh Ban-sok or Jong Sun-hyun. Sorry. So I wouldn't suggest it. I prefer a 4-4-2. And as much as I hate Lee Jae-sung out on the wing, I still expect Lee Jae-sung to be on the wing, Lee Sung-woo to be on the opposite flank. Probably Koo Ja-chol as the attacking midfielder, and Hwang Hee-chan and Son Heung-min up front. It's a very creative, technically gifted attacking lineup, and that's what they'll need to pull apart this Swedish defence.
Yeah, I think anything that's going to make it into more of kind of a front three. I don't think going into a flat-out 4-3-3 is going to be a good idea for them, just because there's nobody that's really going to play either the striker role or playing in a false nine. There just isn't somebody on the roster that's going to fill that completely. But
I do know what Matt means though by the 3-5-2, because the onus will be on Korea.
That's true.
To be able to break down Sweden. And for a 4-4-2 against a 4-4-2, it's going to be a 0-0 draw, isn't it?
Which isn't a bad result for Korea, to be honest. It's not a bad result. I'm not rooting for a 0-0.
In isolation.
But a point
in terms of 3 games.
In isolation, it's not a bad result, no. But Sweden is arguably the most winnable game of the three. They need to beat Sweden to have any chance of getting out of the group.
Yes.
So the onus is on them to go and win the game and be proactive. A 4-4-2 is the damage limitation in kind of option in one sense, but it is the most defensively sound one. But you have to understand that they have to be able to go out there and try and create chances. And in a 4-4-2 with Key, who will drop deep anyway, are they going to be able to do that? That's. I'm asking this because I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
How will they do it?
I think if they're going to do that, what I might do, and you're wearing his shirt, is I might put Go Johan in there. So if it goes wrong, just immediately drop him back to right back. Or Young could also do something similar out on the wing. But have one of those wingers that you're comfortable dropping back into a fullback position. And I mean, it might be worth a shout, but at the same time, if I'm Sweden and I see them in that 3-5-2, invite pressure, get the wings on an overlap.
Forsberg and our field day.
Done. You're done. That's such an easy goal for Sweden to score. And
they've watched the Bosnia game, I'm sure.
So
there's arguments for and against. I'm a traditionalist, but I know what you mean, man.
I'm arguing for the 4-4-2. I'm just saying there is logic to the 3-5-2.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
I just don't think Korea can execute it.
No.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, so that's Sweden. And there's plenty more on the site already for Sweden right now. The K-League coach broke them down a little bit and gave a preview. And Matt, you also had a preview for this as well.
I spoke with the local Swedens, Lee Roden. He's also had he's a football journalist, and he's had pieces in ESPN 442 as well. And he kind of thinks Sweden are going to sit back, and he predicted 1-1 for this game. And I think I thought that was quite generous of him, actually, to be honest.
He's being nice. That's how he saw it going down. What was your prediction?
I predicted 1-1, but the thing is, I think Korea have got the talent technically, but it's this finishing. You can kind of offset the goals conceded if you're scoring the ones at the other end. I mean, it's a bit Kevin Keegan, Gung Ho will score one more than you, but I'd much rather Korea play like that than just hold on. And there is the talent in Korea. They just can't seem to convert. So I said 1-1. Probably Korea to be caught on the counter by Sweden.
Probably
fall for it.
Paul?
1-0 to Korea. Kim Shin-wook in the 86th minute.
You're going to bring him on?
Yeah. He won't start, but he'll come on.
It's on camera. You know we've recorded this.
Have we?
I do think Kim Shin-wook could be brought on, even not in a defensive role, but could be brought on late on to help defend set pieces. Because he's an extra tall player at the back that can head out from corners and stuff.
I think he's a great late substitution. And we had a question about
we're going to get to that.
We're going to come into that later. If he scores a game-winning goal against Sweden, I will buy both the home and away with Kim Chinook.
Oh, I think about actually buy a round.
I think you're going to say Sweden kit.
Oh yeah, I mean sure, for the three of
Buy
us.
the whole
Nope.
pull around.
Nope. The three of us.
Okay.
Yeah.